video, I'm going to show you a really cute little pumpkin spice latte inspired design with a latte cup with some like whipped cream and then a cinnamon stick sticking out of it, some leaves, a pumpkin, some more cinnamon sticks. The cinnamon sticks were so much fun to sculpt and a lot easier than they look. So stay tuned and watch for those, and I will see you all next time. Bye! Bye!
We are going to begin with an overlay of a really pretty shimmery white acrylic. Keep it extremely thin. That way, as you add your other layers, your glitter, your little embellishments that are inside, it doesn't get too thick overall. I'm going to dip a bead of clear acrylic into a gorgeous little pumpkin spice glitter mix. Got some golds, some reds. Place a few of these big sequins that are leaf shapes in there, and then I'm going to encapsulate the whole nail. Whenever you're doing an encapsulation that has glitter pieces or bigger sequins or anything that are inside it, make sure that the clear acrylic that you're using is slightly thinner. That way it will flow around all of those uneven shapes and you won't get any unsightly air bubbles inside. After that's done, go ahead and file the nail into shape. Because you have all of those things that are embedded within the nail, make sure that you're filing cautiously so you don't accidentally file through the clear and ruin the design that is underneath it. Now we're going to start working on a nail form backing, sculpting the different shapes that are going to be the decorations on top for our little pumpkin spice combination. To start sculpting the pumpkin spice latte cup, I'm going to make a rectangle. When you're doing this particular, it's more like a trapezoid, but you want the top and the bottom of the cup to be curved. So the top part of it should curve in slightly, it should be just slightly curved in, and then the bottom should be slightly curved out. That will further the idea that this is a circular cup and it doesn't look so flat that way. Add a second layer of acrylic over the top of it just to make it a little bit rounder, just up and over the top, a little more dome shaped. I'm going to I'm going to perfect the shape of the bottom a little bit more. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to leave it alone and I'm going to let it cure for a minute, and I'm going to sculpt the cinnamon stick that is going to go inside the cup. Very thin, dark brown acrylic. I'm going to pat it out into an approximate rectangle, nothing too particular. And then I'm going to roll up the long sides in towards the middle so that I have them both rolled in on each other, kind of like a scroll, like a pirate scroll map. Just roll them in really quick. Ideally, as you're making those little cinnamon sticks, they roll in nice and tight so that you don't have a super wide cinnamon stick. So the thinner your acrylic is, the better for that one. To sculpt the pumpkin, make a nice round oval with pretty thick orange acrylic. Then take the tip of your brush to carve in the little indents on your pumpkin. And then to make a couple leaves, there are so many different autumn leaves that fall. There are so many different even types of oak trees and maple trees. That's the majority of what we have by where I live. There's different sub varieties. And so you can have fun with the shape of your leaf. You can kind of mimic what I do, or simply go outside if you have deciduous trees by you and see what's around. Take some inspiration from nature itself. Grab a couple fallen leaves, bring them inside, sculpt them. So I've got my maple leaf, and then I'm going to sculpt 3 leaves that are just classic leaf shapes, almost like a teardrop, pointy on each end. Make a little line down the middle of it, and those are going to be like a little cluster of leaves, like they fell off. I have a bush that has that shape of leaf, and those are 2 shades of red. They look really similar in the video, but definitely the maple leaf is more of an orange tone, and then the other ones are a deeper red. Now going back to the latte cup, since the cup itself has had enough time to cure, grab an off-white acrylic. You don't want it to be bright white because this has some pumpkin spice seasoning mixed into it, so it's going to be a darker tone. Sculpt the foam on top. Just kind of use the tip of your brush to carve in the different like swirls, and then pick up the cinnamon stick that you have sculpted and press it into the foam or the whipped cream that's on top of this latte before it cures. So do that right away. Go back to your original cup color, which for me, it's like a cardboard brown. And I'm going to add a rim, a sculpted rim to the top of the cup. That detail adds so much realism to this, and it's so subtle, but it really does sell the fact that this is like a to-go cup. So just sculpt that nice little rim going right around the top edge of the cup. And then you can look at this and you can decide what else you're missing. If you want more cinnamon sticks, I would definitely recommend sculpting a few more of those. I'm going to add a stem to the top of my pumpkin. Anytime you're sculpting something and you want to switch colors, I always recommend giving it a moment and then coming back to it. Once you're happy and you have all your pieces sculpted, you can start assembling them onto the nail. I would have to say that the pieces to this nail would make adorable earrings or a little necklace or something if that is something that you would wear. So especially like those little pumpkin spice lattes on their own, just as earrings would be so cute. So if you've ever considered it, I highly recommend that idea. And if you've never made earrings with acrylic products and you use nail products all the time and you thought, hey, that's a fantastic idea, you want to kind of know how to get started, I do have a video that I did for the month of October that was some skull earrings, and I can put a link to that in the description box below if you just want to know kind of the process of making your nail art into earrings. I'm going to just take and, like I said, assemble all of my pieces before you start attaching anything like this to a nail. Before you just go right for it, pre-plan where you're going to place each piece so you don't all of a sudden have something that's in the wrong location, because as you are attaching these, I'm using a mix of nail glue and clear acrylic. It's stuck. The pieces are attached. So if you don't pre-plan and you're like, oh man, this is in the wrong spot, it's a difficult thing to correct. After you have all the pieces attached, what I would consider temporarily, even though I've just said that they were completely attached, you're going to go through with more clear acrylic and you're going to fill in underneath them, making sure everything is super strong. It is completely 100% never coming off attached. And then you can do the last little final detail painting with acrylic paint. I'm going to use some orange acrylic paint to highlight the leaf that is more of that orange tone, and then some red to highlight the leaves that are the deeper red color. With white paint, I'm going to paint a circle on the front of my cup. If you want to represent a specific coffee company, coffee brand, you would want to whatever their logo is on the front of this cup. I want to keep this somewhat brand ambiguous, and so I'm going to do a generic little pumpkin that's on the front of it. Super cute little logo, not a company, just something that I created when I was like, you know what, this should not represent any specific certain place. If you do want it to represent a specific certain place, like for instance, the Starbucks logo that is ever so prevalent, I do have a video of a Starbucks latte aquarium from a few years ago, and I can put a link to that one in the description box as well. Add details to your pumpkin, define those little lines, add some little speckles on the top of your latte for like sprinkled cinnamon that would be on top. Add some veining on the leaves. With orange paint, I'm going to paint a nice, simple pumpkin shape. With green, I'm going to add the stem, and then I'm going to add some little curly cues on the side of my little pumpkin, and a little leaf as well. Once I've got all of those little details done, I'm happy with it. I'm like, you know what? This thing is so stinking cute. Then you can apply some gel top coat over the background. I know every time I create a design with a gorgeous background like this one, and then I completely cover it up with art, I think, oh my goodness. But the good idea with it, or the purpose of it, is that if this is part of a set of nails and you have other nails along with it, you can use that background as inspiration to fill out the rest of the set. I hope you guys like this design. If you are a pumpkin spice everything fan, I hope this one just brings you an extra smile. I just love the aesthetic of all of the autumn things all put together, especially the cinnamon sticks. They were my favorite part. And I will see you all next time. Bye!